A single monosyllable dominates the passages proclaimed here this morning. From the letter of John, the first letter of John, to the Gospel of John, you just heard proclaimed. The monosyllable is love. A word well-worn, overused, misused, at times defiled. With all that, how touch that single monosyllable to our day? First, a story. A young college graduate, Kayla. She was a Jesuit volunteer just beginning 2 years in Arica, Chile. The specific location she was to serve was a social service agency there. She was sent to work with girls abandoned, with girls abused. 21 girls were under Kayla's care. Here is her story in her own words. I was talking with a 6-year-old girl to get to know her and her situation. I began by asking her if she had any questions for me. The young ones were a bit confused by this gringa that keeps coming in every day and talks funny. Then she asked, ¿Cómo es el amor? ¿Cómo es el amor? What is love? I wasn't sure what exactly she meant, so I probed a little, and she responded that she hears love talked of all the time, but she didn't know what it meant. I thought at that moment, as I looked into her sincere face and the deep, brown, questioning eyes, that my heart would break, because love is something we feel, and she had never felt it during her short little life. I struggled to give her Spanish synonyms that ended up being completely useless to her. How does one answer such a tremendous question? ¿Cómo es el amor? The simplest statement I could give her to respond to her question was, Dios es el amor. God is love. I told her that because God created her out of love, she is wonderful, beautiful, special, and important. And that no matter what, God would always, always be there to love her. And that maybe over the next 2 years together, we could figure out together what love is and what it feels like. Maybe over the next 2 years. How about maybe over the next 70 years? ¿Cómo es el amor? That little girl's question has haunted me ever since I first heard Kayla's story from a Jesuit named Walter Burghardt, who I admired greatly. He worked with her those years. ¿Cómo es el amor? How would I begin to describe love to a little girl who's never known it in her life? What love is? Where would you begin to tell a little girl, 6 years old, who had heard the word spoken many times, when she turns to you and asks, what is love? Kayla began her story of love the same place the author of that second reading and this gospel, John, bases his story. God is love. And perhaps that's precisely where our own story must also focus, because our story is a love story. I think I would want to simply say to her that in the beginning, there was love. It was in the beginning, everybody's beginning, everything's beginning, and our own lives' beginnings. That love is what created her and us. And it's the same love that has been there every time we ever met anybody along the way in our lives. That love was there. It began decades ago when God shaped us, not simply of human parents, but also of divine love. So imaginative a love that each of us images our God in a unique, unrepeatable way. That we were born with this remarkable freedom to love others as Christ loved and loves us. A freedom that just keeps growing inside of us. And our story took a giant step forward when each of us made a choice. When we chose one significant way to express our love in the vocation many of us will someday choose, perhaps, or have already chosen for ourselves, by bringing new life, new possibilities for love into other people's lives by virtue of our vocations, but also this amazing experience of being ourselves human persons. Each of us seeking to be made whole once more, whole enough to love wholly once again, as if for the first time in life. Like for Kayla, when she gave 2 years of her life to those 21 little girls who were abused. Like our interns, for example, this past year, who are winding up that year now. Like them too, who gave us this whole last year of their lives in love for us. I may not be able to tell you what love is, but I can tell you what it is like to be without love. I know from the depths of experience, my own experience, that without love, we lose any sense of meaning and purpose to our lives. Without love, our vocations turn into jobs. Our jobs into routines, and our routines into resentment and burnout. Without love. There were times I thought I knew what love was, and then I didn't. But for now, what I would want to tell that little unloved girl, or even more, show her, is that love is the ground we stand on. And that love is our only hope. Herein lies the answer. For me at least, it touches deep into the mystery that simple monosyllable carries to us. In a simple song, sung by Jean Valjean near the close of the musical Les Miserables. Listen to these words about what love is.
Take my hand and lead you to salvation. Take my love, for love is everlasting. And remember the truth that once was spoken. To love another person is to see the face of God.
To love another person is to see the face of God. Let me end with Kayla's words that she put into a prayer. She wrote at the end of that first week, after struggling throughout the week with that unloved child's tremendous question. A prayer she wrote on a page stained with tears of gratitude, sadness, confusion, and joy. Dear God, I thank you wholeheartedly for helping me through this week. Please continue to strengthen me so that I may rise up to the challenges, so that poco a poco I will start to understand and begin to see more vividly your face on the faces of each of these precious girls. I give them to you to hold, dear God. Please hug them close to your heart. Be with them in their moments of sadness, of fear, of loneliness. Be their mother who can't be there because she is soltera, unmarried, and works the land slavishly with her rough, cracked hands, still finding herself in poverty and misery. Be their father who right now is broken by addiction and violence. And answer for each of us. ¿Cómo es el amor? Amen. My friends, may we be haunted by that question all the days of our lives.